the balance of trade is the distinction between the value of export and value of import of any nations on a particular given time. When there is a demand is high for the currency, obviously its price is going to increase. When there is a supply is high, that means availability of currency more is there in that market, means obviously its price will fall down. There is a steady growth in the economic level, automatically it will attract the more foreign companies or the more foreign investors into the nation. Hello dear student, welcome to the session. My name is Kupamdi, faculty in the Department of Commerce, Vidyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysore. So we are discussing international business of 4th semester BCom. So our 4th unit, foreign exchange market. So in the previous sessions, we have seen what is foreign exchange, how it is, the features of foreign exchange market, and who are all the participants who participate or who take part in the forex market. And in the today's sessions, we'll discuss about how this exchange rate is determined. So that is the exchange rate determinants and the balance of trade and the balance of payment. And then we'll discuss about the currency convertibility. So here, exchange rate determinants in the forex market. How this exchange rate is determined. Suppose we can see a country's currencies in terms of other currency, if it is fluctuating. So what are the reasons behind that fluctuations? So in an everyday basis, we can see that how the US dollar in terms of Indian rupees, that is how it is changing along with the other countries' currencies, maybe the dinars or maybe the ruble. So how these currencies are fluctuating. How these variations happens. So that is your exchange rate determinants in the forex market. So first we have the demand and supply of currencies. So that is the basic market mechanism. So one of the basic mechanism in the marketing, that is depends on the demand and the supply. So the price of any product hugely influenced by the demand for that product and what is the supply of that product there in the market. So the same mechanism applies to the forex market also. So here, this is the fundamental principle of exchange rate determinants. So the basic, the primary determinant of forex market, it is the demand and supply of currency. So that means if any particular country's currency, if it is a huge demand there for that currency in the global market, obviously its price will rise up. So that means for any currency, what is the demand there in the global market or in the forex market, and also what is the supply of that currency, that hugely determines its exchange rate. So here, when more people want a currency, its demand increasing, causing its appreciate, that is value rises. So suppose if the country's currencies, if there is a huge demand is there for that currency, for example, the US dollar, if there is a huge demand is there for the dollar, obviously the dollar price will keep on rising in terms of other currencies. So when a country becomes more available in the market, that is a higher supply, its value falls or depreciate. Suppose if a country's currency, it is in the surplus or the supply it is more. So that means if many countries or people or the investor, they are selling their currencies of that particular country, means obviously its availability is more in the forex market. So when there is a supply is high, automatically the price will fall down. So this is the basic mechanism of the price or the price determinants in the forex market. So that means when there is a demand is high for the currency, obviously its price is going to increase. When there is a supply is high, that means availability of currency more is there in that market, means obviously its price will fall down. So that is the first mechanism or exchange rate determinant. So then we have interest rate differentials. So countries with a higher interest rate attract more foreign investment because investor seeks higher returns. So any country which is offering a highest interest rate from the commercial banking side or even from the central bank, when there is an increase in the interest rate, obviously it will attract the more foreign investors into that country, so creating a demand for that currency. So what is its exchange rate? How the interest rate impact the exchange rate? So here, higher interest rate increasing the demand for the currencies, so automatically the currency will appreciate. Okay, any country's interest rate or the bank in the commercial bank or even in the central bank, the interest rate it is high means what? It is attracting the more investors or the foreign investors into that country. So that means automatically that country's currency, it will gain demand. So that will lead to the price increase or price fluctuation. and then the lower interest rate. So obviously it will have a vice versa effect. So the lower the interest rate means what? Demand will fall down, automatically the exchange rate or the price also will automatically will come down. Next we have the inflation rate differences. So the inflation rate reduces the currency's purchasing power. If a country is facing a high inflations, so automatically the product prices are high, so it will come down, or there will be a chances of decrease in the purchasing power of the people. So at that time, automatically the spending will be less. So the currency's demand also will be less. So that also will influence the currency's exchange rate. So if any country if it has a higher inflation rate, so automatically the currency's rate or the exchange rate it will come down. So low inflation countries experience appreciation because their goods remain competitively priced. So if there is a low inflation is this, that means their product or the GDP or their product, it will be competitively priced. That means the price level will be the reasonable. So automatically the purchasing power of the people will be more. So at that time, obviously it will create the more demand for the country's currencies. So that will impact in the appreciation of that currency value. Suppose the vice versa effect that we can see if a country has a higher inflation rate. So if any country has that higher inflation rate, automatically the purchasing power of the people that will come down. So what happens? They have to pay more for the less goods. So automatically the purchasing power will come down, the currency's demand will come down. So that will impact in the decrease in the value of currency. So that is high inflation countries seeks depreciation because their export become costly. So higher inflations, whenever they are facing the higher inflations, their export become costly. So automatically it will decrease their exchange rate. So then we have economic growth and the performance. So one of the major factors so that determines the exchange rate, it is how that country is economically performing at the global level. So what we can see that India in the last recent years, so India is achieving the sustainable growth. So there is a steady growth in the economic level. Automatically it will attract the more foreign companies or the more foreign investors into the nation. So overall economic development will have an impact on the exchange rate. So a strong economy attract foreign direct investment and portfolio investment. So when a country is performing economically, when there is a human resources or the vast human resources available, and also if it is performing economically well, so automatically the more global companies, they'll try to invest in that particular nation. So automatically that will create the more opportunity and that will create the demand for that country's currency. So whenever the FDI is made in India, that means automatically the India currency, it is gaining importance in the global market. So at that time, its value will increase. So that's how the economic growth and performance of that nations, so that will impact the exchange rate. So the strong GDP growth of country, if it has a higher GDP growth, so investors buy more of the country currency to invest in that particular nation. So if the GDP growth is high, automatically the investors, they'll try to come and invest here. So automatically creating a demand for the country's currency. So obviously it will increase the exchange rate. Then suppose if it is economy, it is weak, then the low demand for the currency in the global market. So that will, obviously it will, the currency will lose its value. So that is the economic growth and performance, how it impacts the exchange rate. Then we have political stability and the government policies. One of the major player in the global market, it is about how a country's government is performing, whether they have a stable government or if there is an unstable government. If there is a stable government is there, obviously the investors or the foreign companies, they can predict what kind of policies they'll make. So whether that nation, it is favorable to invest in that. So that is the impact or that is the effect that the country will have if they have a stable government. Automatically, the overall performance will be better, creating a more demand for that country currency. So the opposite side, if the country is having a unstable government, so that means there will be obviously the civic tension and also the policy, strategic policies will be different. There will be the frequent changes in the policies. This is all lead to the decrease in the international trade. Automatically, there will be a decrease in the currency's demand also. Automatically, the price of that currency that will fall down. So here, political stability signals safety for investment. So the investors avoid countries with the political uncertainties. So obviously any investors, if you wants to invest in that particular country, the first thing they're going to say it is how the government or the political stability of that country. So that defines your investment decision. So that also influences the exchange rate. So what are the impact? Stable political environment encourages the investment, then the demand for the currency it will increase, and also it will lead to the currency appreciation. Suppose if there is any political chaos or the elections, wars, or these kind of the situations are there, at that time the investors obviously they will exit from that country, withdrawing the currency, automatically the demand will fall for the currency, so that will have the decrease in the values of that particular currency. So that is the another factor that determines the exchange rate, that is how the political stability of that particular nation. So these are all the important exchange rate determinants, that is the important factors that determines or that influence the currency rate or influences the exchange rate. So next we'll see what is the balance of trade. So here the balance of trade is the distinction between the value of export and value of import of any nations on a particular given time. So your BOP or BOT, so that is your balance of trade. It is the distinctions between what is the value of import and what is the value of export. So that will show you the balance of trade. So here BOT is the largest constituent of nation's balance of payment. So BOT, it is one part of the nation's BOP, that is balance of payment. So here balance of payment is a statement of all the transactions that are made between the entities in one nation and with the rest of the world over a particular time frame, such as a quarter or a year. So the balance of payment, it shows the complete transaction that takes place with the one country with another country in a one particular time. So that we call it as the balance of payment. So your balance of payment, it will show all the kind of your current transactions, maybe the import or the export or any capital transactions, any investment is made or any foreign direct investment or FII is done. So all these transactions that shows in the BOPs of nation. So BOP, in that BOT, so that is one part of BOP. So here balance of trade, it will shows the overall quantity, overall the trade that takes place in terms of import and export between the two nations, whereas your balance of payment, it will shows the complete details of all kind of transactions, maybe the import or export, or maybe the capital investment, or maybe any service kind of related transactions, every transactions or all the details that shows in the BOP. Next we'll see what are the types of balance of trade that we have. So one, it is the favorable trade balance. So it is also popularly referred to as trade surplus. So in a favorable trade balance, a country's total export exceeds the total import. So the many experts consider this to be the ideal situations for any nation. So here what are the types of BOT that we have? One, it is a favorable trade balance. So that means what? When a country's export is more than the import of that country, so that means they have that favorable balance of trade. So whenever there is an increase in the export, obviously they will have the huge foreign exchange or the foreign currency, so that can be used for any importing any necessities. So that is the favorable conditions, which is ideal situations for any nation. So that means any nations, they'll aim it is to have the huge amount of export so that they can dominate in the foreign market, and also they can have that huge foreign exchange with them. So that can be used for the country's development by importing any necessary technologies or importing any necessary resources. So that is the favorable conditions. So that is ideal for any nation. So next we have that unfavorable trade balances. So obviously unfavorable situations happens when a country's import exceeds the country's export. So that is the unfavorable conditions or the unfavorable balance of trade. So this is the complete opposite of favorable trade balance. So in this case, the total import of a nation exceeds the total export to other countries. It is also known as trade deficit for an economy. So that means a country's import is more than country's export. So they will have that deficit of foreign exchange. So more than the reserve, they'll have to pay more to the import. So that is when the deficit in the balance of trade. So that situations that we have, it is unfavorable BOT. Then we have the equilibrium trade balance. So that means when their export that equates to the level of import, so that situations that we call it as equilibrium balance of trade. So here another type of BOT is that equilibrium trade balance. In this case, the total amount or the value of export equal to the total amount of import. However, this is practically impossible as import and exports cannot be equal. So practically it is not possible for all the nations to have an equilibrium. That means to have an equal amount of export and equal amount of import. So this situations here, what happens, both the export that equates to the amount of import, but practically these situations cannot be possible if we go in a practical way. So next topic that we have, it is the currency convertibility. So here currency convertibility, it is a vital aspect of a national economic framework determining the ease with which its currency can be exchanged for the foreign currency. So here the convertibility means how a country's currency that will be exchanged for another country currency. So this mechanism plays a crucial role, that is important role, especially in the international trade and investment, and also to achieve the economic stability. To achieve the economic growth and also to have a balanced international trade, it is very important for any country to see that how their currency that will be converted into the other country currency. So what are the component of currency convertibility that we have? One, it is the current account convertibility. Another, it is the capital account convertibility. So important two component of currency convertibility, it is current account and the capital account convertibility. So now we'll see what is current account convertibility. So here it refers to the degree of freedom to convert your rupees into other internationally accepted currencies and vice versa without any restrictions whenever payments are made. So a current account convertibility shows that with what kind of freedom that they have when they go for converting an Indian rupee into the other countries' currencies without having any restrictions whenever the transactions happens between the two nations. Whereas the capital account convertibility is, it refers to the degree of freedom to convert foreign financial asset into the domestic financial asset or the vice versa at market determined exchange rate. So here capital account convertibility, it is about how these foreign assets that can be converted into the domestic asset or any form of liquid asset into the domestic country or vice versa at the market determined exchange rate. Thus, it allows anyone to move freely from the local currencies into the foreign currencies and back. So that means what kind of freedoms that they have to convert any foreign asset into a domestic asset or vice versa, and thus it allows to move freely from the local currencies to the foreign currencies. So these are the two components of currency convertibility that we have. So this is all about your fourth unit. Important here, the exchange rate determinants and what is the currency convertibility, and also the meaning of balance of trade and the balance of payment. So I hope you all understood about the forex market, and we all meet in the next session. Thank you.